Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to take you guys through a new Steam feature update for Steam Client Beta that dropped on September the 6th, and also a big update to a game I know everybody loved in 2023, one Starfield. I am joking, of course. Starfield was one of the more divisive games, I would say, of honestly the last 5 to 10 years, and it is getting a major expansion with Starfield Shattered Space. A lot of you guys are gonna have access to it right off the rip because you bought the Digital Deluxe Edition or the Premium Edition, whatever it was called, to play the game quote-unquote early, and yeah, the Shattered Space expansion is baked into that, and you'll get it. We have a bit of an update on what that's gonna include and why I'm not that excited for what they are noting as far as rolling out with the expansion. We'll talk that at the end of this video, however. Right off the top, Steam Client Beta update for September 6th. There's a very notable feature and change that has been added to this. The Steam Client Beta has been updated with the following changes. General, fixed regression when rendering game invites in chat, improved reliability of games in common collections and library, rewrite of shortcut key binding in the settings UI, including the ability to unbind a hotkey. Steam input, fixed regression dots per 360 was having no effect on flick stick or gyro to mouse modes, and fixed a bug where PlayStation controllers connected over Bluetooth can be shown as connected over USB. Most notably, as far as game recording, you can now bind a shortcut key, which saves a clip of recent gameplay. They used to have this bookmarking thing going on, and that was just not very good. Now, game recording has been improved with the Steam Client. Remember that this is the beta update, and it's not going to be rolled out in the official update until, I would imagine, in the, next little while. It'll be fairly quick. I'm sure they'll iron out some issues. Steam adding game recording has been a long time coming. Unfortunately, it didn't roll out in the best of ways, but thankfully it is getting better and better. I just feel like, again, when we talk about Steam and Epic Game Store, I really do feel like Steam over the last few years has just done a plethora of quality of life improvements that, in a vacuum, each individual update isn't that much to write home about, but when you collectively add it all together, I actually do think there's quite a lot of great updates that Steam has rolled out, and game recording getting better, another element of that. So, nice little update there, and if you do use Steam as your primary recording platform, I know a lot of us use GeForce Experience, that's mainly what I use to record footage. Sometimes I'll use OBS and things of that nature, but, for a lot of other people, just having it built into Steam is something I think is quite nice. And having all of those feature updates, by the way, that Steam is rolling out while also still remaining absolutely free, I think that's awesome. I think, obviously free-to-play online should be a thing that's available on consoles as well. Unfortunately, that's not the case right now, and it probably won't ever go back to being the case. All right, moving on from that. Nice little update from Steam, but want to talk a little bit about Starfield, as a major tweet has been put out. The 1-year anniversary for Starfield and Starfield Shattered Space is going to be coming out at the end of this month. I feel like Starfield released with a lot of hype and anticipation. It's an open world Bethesda game. Those games, I think, in perpetuity are always going to come out with a lot of hype and anticipation. However, I do believe if Elder Scrolls 6 flops and isn't a well-received game, that's a huge problem, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But Bethesda is one of those studios that I think it's the perception of them is really beginning to change. I think in the late 2000s, early 2010s, they could do no wrong. Fallout 4 was a bit divisive, and Starfield was certainly divisive. But I did have fun with Starfield, but obviously didn't live up to expectations. Bethesda notes, thank you for the millions of players who have made the settled systems their home and helped make this incredible first year for Starfield. We have much more coming, beginning with our first story expansion, Shattered Space, releasing September the 30th. Here's a bit of what you can expect when Shattered Space launches. Over 50 new locations to discover and explore, new grenades to craft that stem from organic material, formidable new enemies, be on your guard for redeemed and vortex horrors. You haven't seen the last of the Zealots, Spacers, and Crimson Fleet. As you explore the planet, be on the lookout for those taking advantage of your situation. Stay tuned, we'll share more about Starfield Shattered Space soon. Now, one of these updates that are noted really doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me as far as Starfield is concerned, and that is the over 50 new locations to discover and explore. Now, on paper, that sounds incredibly compelling. 50 new locations? Okay, that sounds like a lot of content. I would say the idea of 50 new locations harkens back to Starfield's biggest pitfall and the biggest problem with the game. Yeah, it's an impressive game. You've got so many planets, and what they were going for was a game that was incredible in scope. However, and this is certainly becoming more and more of an issue in gaming, and I think in modern gaming, it is such a big problem. The bigger these games get, the more and more diluted they get, the more generic it gets as far as the content that's actually available. I really think we gotta do something, you guys, as far as these games and the expectation of these games getting bigger and bigger. And I don't even know if at this point it is a consumer expectation where they want these games to get bigger and bigger, these single-player open-world titles to have, you know, 1 billion hours of content, or if that's what they just deem internally that people want. However, I believe there was a point where people were very impressed with the level of content. In the mid-2000s, early 2000s, when we were getting games like Skyrim and Witcher 3 that were, I should say early 2010s, mid-2010s, when we were getting games like Skyrim and Witcher 3 that were, in the case of Witcher 3, technically impressive, but also had a lot of refined content. We were like, wow, there's so much content in this game, and it's a pretty impressive game for its time. I think we've jumped the shark at this point, where these games are just getting bigger and bigger because that's what they think is the only thing the consumer wants. At this point, I am so sick of it. I am getting older. I have a finite amount of time on my hands to play video games, and not to mention, guys, I have a finite amount of time that these days I want to play video games. I get it. Some of you guys love your 100, 200-hour games, and that's great. Those games can exist. However, if it comes at the sacrifice of the game quality and the diluting of the game itself, that's where we have a problem. I've been very vocal about this fact with games like Assassin's Creed, the newer Assassin's Creed, and you know what? I might be in the minority on that because those games are incredibly successful, they do well, and people seem to love it. I think those games are bloated as all hell, and they have way too much content for their own good, especially in the case of Valhalla. I think we can scale these games back, and it would make the game more refined, it would make the game more quality-filled, and people would enjoy them more, and they would do even better. And I would argue they would cost less than what they are now. And that's one of the biggest issues in gaming in its entirety, that these games take 1 billion years to develop because the scope has gotten so big. Now, credit to the developers of Astrobot. They brought this to the table that I've been talking about for quite a while, and certainly will continue to talk about that. Not every, especially Bethesda, can sink a lot of money into creating a game in the scope of Starfield, but the expectations gotta change, and I don't even know if the consumer expectation anymore is to have this level of content. Sure, when you have Elden Ring, a game that has such great game design and replayability, that game's gonna offer you a lot of content, but it's not like that game is diluting its content. In the case of Starfield, I would argue the scope and the size of the game is actively lessening what this game is, and if we scale it back a little bit, I just think it would be better for everybody. And I don't know, maybe it's because I talk to my contemporaries all the time and they agree, a lot of them at least, that we are getting older. Some of them have families and whatnot. They have 9-to-5 jobs. They're busy people, and just all these games coming out that require this level of investment, it's not necessary for every game to be like that. That's all I'm saying. And I think there is a level of assessment that needs to be done, being like, yo, is this game getting so big actually becoming a detriment to the game? I would rather something that's scaled back a little bit. I'm not saying games should be the Order 1886. It doesn't have to be, you know, two opposite sides of the spectrum. I really do believe games of all sizes can exist, but I do think it's valuable to assess, is this game's level of content just diluting the content that's in the game? And I feel like with Starfield, that was one of the biggest talking points and my biggest issue with the game, that initially it comes across incredibly impressive, and then you play more and more of it, and you realize that a lot of these planets just leave a lot to be desired in the locations and whatnot. But that's a Starfield problem. Hopefully Shattered Space is a little bit more contained. That's just what I want out of gaming in general, you guys, these days. I get it that games can exist that are enormous and have a lot of content. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And that game, because it sustains its quality level within its size, it's fine. However, not every development studio is going to have the talent nor the budget to create a Red Dead Redemption 2 level game, and I can't set every open world game to be at that standard. I understand that, but I do think it would be a lot of good for games in general to step back a little bit, scale it back a little bit, and I don't think that many people would be upset about it because the big games are always going to exist. And there are going to be games that are going to offer you 40, 50, 80 hours of content, but I think it's also okay for games to exist that offer 12 to 15 hours. I'm not saying Starfield should be 12 to 15 hours, I just think scaling it back would be beneficial. But that'll do it for me. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent on that, but let me know what you guys think. Again, a big Steam feature update as far as recording being adjusted, and now you can set a shortcut key, and a bit of an update on Starfield. And You know, this update makes me a little bit skeptical on Shattered Space, but I don't even know how many people are looking to revisit Starfield at this point. But let me know if you are. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.